In a dramatic turn of events that has sent ripples across the global political landscape, former U.S. President Donald Trump has announced that he will not attend the upcoming G20 summit, a decision he justified by launching a scathing critique of South Africa's current leadership and its policies. In a statement released from his Florida residence at Mar-a-Lago, Trump described South Africa's economic and political trajectory as deeply troubling and claimed that the country's very bad policies have undermined not only its own economy but also the stability of global markets. The G20 summit, scheduled to take place in Johannesburg next month, was expected to bring together world leaders to discuss pressing issues such as climate change, economic recovery, and international security. However, Trump's announcement has shifted the focus away from these agenda items, fueling speculation about his broader political motives and his relationship with the African continent. Trump's statement and criticism. Speaking to a group of supporters and reporters, Trump was characteristically blunt. South Africa has been run into the ground by terrible leadership and very bad policies, he said. They are making decisions that hurt their own people, drive away investors, and destabilize markets around the world. I'm not going to lend credibility to a summit being hosted in a country with such disastrous policies. Trump did not limit his criticism to economic issues. He accused South African leaders of mishandling critical sectors such as energy, agriculture, and infrastructure. They've allowed corruption and mismanagement to flourish, he continued. It's very sad because South Africa has so much potential, but the current leadership is destroying it. This is not the first time Trump has been outspoken about South Africa. During his presidency, he frequently criticized land reform policies and raised concerns about violence against white farmers, comments that drew both support and condemnation. His latest remarks, however, are being interpreted as part of a broader strategy to position himself as a staunch defender of Western values and economic interests ahead of a potential 2028 presidential run. Reaction from South Africa. The South African government quickly responded to Trump's comments, dismissing them as unfounded and inflammatory. In a press briefing, Minister of International Relations Naledi Pandor said, "We strongly reject Mr. Trump's baseless accusations. South Africa is a sovereign nation with a robust democracy and institutions that are working hard to address the challenges we face. Hosting the G20 is an opportunity for constructive dialogue, not divisive rhetoric." Several South African politicians also took to social media to defend the country's policies. Economic Freedom Fighters, EFF, leader Julius Malema tweeted, "Trump has no moral authority to lecture South Africa on governance. This is nothing but a political stunt." However, some opposition voices within South Africa conceded that Trump's criticisms were not entirely without merit. Democratic Alliance, DA, spokesperson John Steenhuisen noted, "While we don't agree with Mr. Trump's decision to boycott the G20, his comments highlight serious concerns about corruption and mismanagement in our country. We hope this serves as a wake-up call for the government." Global reaction. Trump's boycott has raised questions among global leaders about the future relevance of the G20. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz expressed disappointment, saying, "The G20 is a platform for dialogue, even when we disagree. Walking away sends a wrong message." Similarly, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi emphasized the need for unity. At a time when the world faces multiple crises, leaders must come together, not pull apart. Meanwhile, financial markets reacted with caution. The South African rand weakened slightly against the US dollar following Trump's announcement, and analysts warned that his comments could deter foreign investors already nervous about the country's energy shortages and political instability. Underlying issues in South Africa. South Africa has been grappling with a host of economic challenges in recent years, including sluggish growth, high unemployment, and persistent power outages caused by its struggling state-owned utility, Eskom. Critics argue that government mismanagement and entrenched corruption have exacerbated these problems. Land reform remains another contentious issue. The government has sought to address historical inequalities by redistributing land, but the policy has raised concerns among investors about property rights and economic stability. Trump, during his presidency, was particularly vocal about this issue, claiming it amounted to land seizures and expropriation without compensation. Despite these challenges, the South African government insists it is making progress. President Cyril Ramaphosa has launched a series of anti-corruption initiatives and pledged to revitalize key industries. Yet, with unemployment hovering at nearly 33% and inflation biting into household budgets, many South Africans remain skeptical about the government's ability to turn the tide. Trump's broader political strategy. Political analysts suggest Trump's decision to skip the G20 could be part of a calculated effort to appeal to his base ahead of the next election cycle. By boycotting the summit and framing it as a rejection of bad policies abroad, Trump is reinforcing his image as a nationalist leader who puts America first, said Dr. Michael O'Hanlon, a senior fellow at the Brookings Institution. It also allows him to criticize the Biden administration, which is expected to attend the G20 and maintain engagement with South Africa. Some observers believe Trump's comments reflect a larger skepticism toward multilateral institutions, which he often criticized during his time in office. Trump has always been wary of global forums like the G20, which he sees as platforms for elites to make deals that don't benefit ordinary Americans, said O'Hanlon. What happens next? With Trump's absence looming large, the G20 summit organizers are working to keep the focus on pressing global issues. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa has urged all invited leaders to attend, emphasizing that the summit represents an opportunity to forge solutions to shared challenges. This is not the time for division, Ramaphosa said in a televised address. We must work together to tackle climate change, strengthen the global economy, and ensure peace and security. Whether Trump's boycott will derail those efforts remains to be seen. His decision has certainly drawn attention, but it has also deepened divisions between those who view South Africa as a critical partner in global affairs and those who see it as a nation in decline. As the world awaits the G20 summit, one thing is clear: Trump's absence will be felt, and his words will continue to reverberate far beyond the corridors of Mar-a-Lago.